Okay, this is a video of all three versions of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. Over on the right, the first one you see is the F-35B. This is the vertical takeoff and landing aircraft that the U.S. Marines and a number of other countries, Italy, the UK, Japan, Korea, several countries have ordered it, along with the other F-35s, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But distinctively, it is able to take off vertically, or with a short run and jump off of these jump carriers that we'll talk about. This is the F-35C for the U.S. Navy. You can see its tug there. Its folded wings and larger wings, quite a bit larger wings. It allows it to go further, carries more fuel, and to carry more ordnance. In a minute we'll turn them over and look at them. And then this is the F-35A, which by and far will be built the most of for the U.S. Air Force and a number of other air forces around the world. So far, to date, as of right now, there have been a total of about 525 F-35s built, and that's 140 for 9 different foreign countries altogether, the most being for Norway that has 22, and Israel has 21, Australia has 18, Japan has, I believe, 16, and numerous other countries, including Italy, the UK, who will be putting them on their new Queen Elizabeth carriers. The United States has a total of 310 or 20 built, mostly for the U.S. Air Force, but there's 100 some odd built for the Marine Corps already, and 52 so far for the U.S. Navy. The rest of that 300 some odd are the U.S. Air Force. If we turn these over, and I will do that, this is the Air Force version. You can see the internal bays. Now when they want to go into full stealth mode, these mini weapons on the wings would not be there, and you would have the weapons in the bay areas. Let's turn this back over. Let's look at the naval version on the bottom. You can see that's quite a loadout. Not quite as much as a fully loaded F-18F, but getting close. And you can see that's a 30mm cannon in the middle where it's carrying its gun, whereas the gun on the Air Force version is carried in the nose of the aircraft. We'll turn this guy back over. You can see the naval folded wings so that they can store them more easily on the deck of the carrier. And then the F-35B. It can also carry them like the others do, but in this case I built it for a stealth attack, and you can see it carrying guided munitions, the long-range missiles, anti-air missiles, as well as short-range anti-air missiles like the Sidewinder. So let's turn that guy back over. Interesting thing about the F-35B is that the UK is going to have 2 large aircraft carriers. In fact, they're already built. Each one will be able to carry around 50 of these aircraft. And that's quite a potent force of aircraft, particularly when you consider their 5th generation stealth aircraft, and that they are specifically built as each one with strong sensor fusion, making them in essence a miniature AWACS. So the communication and the sensor fusion that they bring to the table with respect to knowing what's going on around them from any number of places, including AWACS, P-8s, other recon aircraft like the Global Hawk and the Naval Triton. Makes this a very powerful weapon. And now we find that Japan is now ordering them for their small carriers, of which they have 4, and may build 4 more, a bit larger. Korea for their existing carrier and the new carrier that they are building, the Dokdo type carrier. The Japanese carriers can carry, particularly the larger ones, probably 18 to 20 of those aircraft, 12 or so on the Korean carriers. Of course, the Australian carriers, they're now looking at utilizing that aircraft as well. And so we are finding more and more, Spain, Italy, the UK, they're all now buying these aircraft as well for the naval component. And you're going to see more than was initially thought as more and more countries put these aircraft on their small carriers to counter the buildup, particularly that is occurring with China building numerous carriers. And so this is a way that other countries can counter that, particularly in the Western Pacific. But these are 1/72nd scale models of the various F-35 aircraft, and I thought I would show them here on YouTube along with my other military videos, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. By the way, the U.S. Navy will augment the FA-18 E&Fs with these aircraft, and then going into the future, the 6th generation aircraft that are now on the design board, and which you can see on my video of the USS Enterprise CVN-80. I had some 3D model makers make both the Grumman and the Boeing version of the FA-XX, which is the 6th generation fighter that the Navy will use, and which will take the place of the F-18s ultimately in the 2030s, in the late 2020s perhaps, but certainly in the 2020s. But during that time, the F-35 will build up and ultimately fly on those carriers with the new 6th generation aircraft. So there you have it, the U.S. 5th generation fleet, adding very much to the 178 F-22s that we have, which we sadly have. There should have been 500 or 600 of those. But a serious mistake of forecasting in the Obama administration, and they cut that back to 178. Well, we now have over 500 of these aircraft flying around the world, with over 300 of them in the United States. And that's a good thing. Thanks a lot again. Goodbye.